to my channel. My name is Emma, and today we are talking about our 2025 temperature blanket. I'm pretty excited for this year because I'm going back to something I know a bit better, and by that I mean granny squares, and I have all this beautiful yarn that I'm very excited to use. So yeah, it should be, let me not jinx it, let me knock on big wood here, that it should be a good year. I'm gonna be in one place for the most part, which will be a bit consistent, and I'm changing stuff up from what I usually do, so I'm hoping that that all just ends with a better blanket experience than last year. So this video brought a lot of new subscribers last year and new viewers. Just wanted to take a moment to say hi, my name is Emma. I'm a third-year college student. Right now I'm going to Syracuse University in New York, but I live in Texas. And yeah, so this is my Texas bedroom. You won't see much of this for the rest of the year, but I leave this Saturday, so I figured the time to talk about temperature blankets, plan, and begin was now. I've been crocheting for over a decade now. I do a lot of different things with crocheting, but I for a while did markets and stuffed animals and accessories and stuff, and then last year I made the switch to kind of making stuff for myself, and then I got into YouTube a lot more, and so here I am. I try to post weekly. I've been pretty good at it, but I try to just do as much as I can that I like to do. I am not doing like markets and stuff this year or orders, so it's very much about me being creative, and also because I am in college, the free time I have can get really sparse sometimes, and I like to spend that being creative. So yeah, hopefully you will join me for the ride that will probably be 2025. So the first thing I wanted to do is review some of my other temperature blankets, because I've been doing these for 3 years now, which I know is not a super long time in the grand scheme of things, but also I feel like it is because I've learned some things in those 3 years. So the first one I made was this one right here, and I saw like TikToks about it like right before New Year's, so I didn't have that much time to do anything other than what I had seen. So for this one, I was in Texas the whole year. This was 2022. I was in Texas the whole year, and every single day got a row of single crochet. Let me try to find the width, hold on. So it's also pretty wide, like it's a good sized blanket. I don't know if I have a picture. If I have a picture of the whole thing, I'm sure I do. It's probably on my Instagram, but I'll insert it here. So that's what the whole thing looks like. Texas is quite a warm place, so there is a lot of this. And I learned very quickly that single crochet is a horrible thing to do all year. It was not fun by the end of it. It was made in, wait for, acrylic. And I don't remember if I've even washed this at all, because quite frankly, by the end of it, I was so tired of it. I didn't want to even think about it. So I think I just like finished it, took a picture, folded it, and I don't think I've touched it since December of 2022, if I'm being completely honest. I also didn't weave in ends. You can see here, I literally just like cut them and crocheted over them, which is not the end of the world. But yeah, I remember that in my original, oh, I should also say, I make these little guys. Oh, I didn't make one this year. 2022, again, first year, so there was things I didn't do. But I remember that this orange color was going up to, I believe, 100 degrees, and then the red, the burgundy, was 101 plus, and then around like May, June, I switched it for the burgundy to include 100 degrees because I felt like it was more accurate of how it felt. So there is that switch, and I think that's the only really crazy thing that happened. I know for a while I was on the hunt for some of these colors because I swear to God they like got discontinued or something. But yeah, first one, I keep her just for memory's sake, but I don't really use it. 2023 is my favorite year so far, and that is this huge one. If you thought this one was big, this one's even bigger. And I actually don't have a picture of this. I have a video. If I can include the video, I will, because I can't even unfold this right now. It's like, it's too much. But I have this folded up a bunch, and each month got a square, and I'll show you this other one. So every single day got a row, and then I put them all together, so it's a 3x4. And depending on the amount of days in the month was how many cream colored. So I did a row for each day, and then like February had 4 cream rows, and then the months with 30 days had 2, and the months with 31 had 1, just so that all the squares ended up with 32 rows. And then I did 2 rows of this front and back post double crochet stitch, and you can't really see it, just as a border. I love this blanket despite how big it is. I used Lion Brand Pound of Love for this project, and the only con with using Pound of Love is there's multiple skeins that, like this one, I think this was like a high of in the 40s or something. Again, Texas. So I only used it maybe 3 times, so I had a whole Pound of Love left, which is like, it's 2025 now, still haven't used it all. So that's the only con with using a yarn that comes in such a big ball like this, is that if you don't use it, or like I ran out of a few colors once or twice throughout the year, and then I had to, like, of course, buy it again, but then by the end of the year, I hadn't used much of the second ball of that color, so it's kind of not the best for that reason. Other than that, I love this yarn. I love this yarn. I love this blanket. This blanket is so big. Probably gonna have it like for the rest of my life because it was so much work, and all the squares, like some of them, like quite warm. There's some more interesting ones. I love this like green one. Please don't ask me what month it is. I have no idea. Some months I was kind of like, wow, that's a lot of one color. I believe this orangey one is like if it was a high of the 80s or something. So yeah, this one was fun. The other thing that I didn't love about this one, and what kind of prompted my movement for the next year, was that there were some months that I got behind, and because they got so big, if I was behind a whole month, making one of these squares took like several evenings, and so that was kind of annoying. But you live, you learn. I do still think this is my favorite so far. And now we have 2024. And I'm gonna try not to be too much of a hater, but this is my least favorite. Right off the bat, this is my least favorite. So it's also smaller, so I can show you most of it if I can find the top. So this is what 2024 looks like. And my thought process going into this was two main things. One was I realized that I might be in 2 cities in the year. That ended up being true. I split my year between Texas and Syracuse. So I needed a way to kind of do that easily because I wanted to have an indication between the 2 cities because their weather is so different. And I don't think I could have done that with squares, maybe. So I decided I also, like I was saying, if I was behind on the squares and doing a whole square took a long time to catch up, I was like, oh, well, if I do something small every day, maybe that'll be a bit easier. I was wrong. I did not like getting behind and having to make 30 or 30 plus tiny flowers. I did not like it. It was not fun at all. So yeah, and then I also, I got my wisdom teeth out, either late May or early June, I don't remember. I got my wisdom teeth out, and I was in bed for a couple of days afterwards because it was, not fun. It was not a fun surgery. I won't go into details, but it was not fun. And so I was in recovery for a few days, and in those few days I was so tired and nauseous, but when I was awake, I was like, well, let me at least crochet my flowers because I was behind. And I crocheted all of the ones, I think a month at least worth of flowers with 5 petals instead of 6. So when I sewed them together, you can see it, prime example right here with this yellow one, it got very gappy because it's supposed to have 6 petals in each one, and then it doesn't. So that was one thing. And then for the first move between New York and Texas, you can see it here. All I did was I finished out the row with brown, but then when I came back to Texas, I did like a whole row of brown when I really should have just done these, so that's annoying. And then I also realized after I had sewn in half of December that after I finished it basically, I realized I left out like a week. I don't know what happened to those flowers. I thought I had made them all. Again, because I was behind, I made all the flowers ahead of time and I thought I had finished them all. And then I looked at the end and there's not 31 days of December. There is, I can probably just count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, hold on. I think it might have been November. Hold on. Okay, yeah, it was November. For some reason, on my temperature blanket, November only has 19 days. It very much had 30. I don't know what happened. So, yeah. And I used Karen Simply Soft for this project. I have used Karen Simply Soft for a whole sweater. I don't dislike the yarn, but something about the yarn mixed with these puff flowers, mixed with the year-long project, I did not like. I probably won't be using Karen Simply Soft for a while because I'm annoyed at it. And it's not its fault, but I am annoyed. Now we can kind of get into what I'm doing for this year. Like I said, I'm using all of this yarn. It looks very dark in my camera, but it's a little bit brighter in person. But I am using the Lion Brand Heartland. I have another one right here. Lion Brand Heartland. It is another acrylic weight 4, but it comes in these really pretty heathered colors. It comes in some more solid ones, but I tried to pick all the heathered ones because I thought it was really cool. Yeah, I'm using that in a bunch of different colors. I'm not going to go through all the colors right now because I only have... Oh, do I have... Okay, I have my receipt says all the colors. So I'm using Glacier Bay, Olympic, New River Gorge, Haleakala, Canyon, Bryce Canyon, Layson Volcanic, Gateway Arch, Badlands, and Indiana Dunes is this one. You'll see more of these when I start making the blanket because I also need to make one of these guys. So for the past 2 years, I didn't do it for the first year, but I made these little guides, A, as kind of keepsakes, and B, in case I forgot the colors. But I just have my temperature blanket, and then I have all of the temperature slots, I guess, and then a little sample of the yarn for each color. So for 2023, I did a color change every 10 degrees. So like I should say for Texas, 0 to 39 had one color. Because I was also doing the highs of the day for every day for the past 2 years. So 0 to 39, but then it was 40 to 49, 50 to 59 kind of thing. But then for last year, again, I wanted to make it a little easier. And I did bigger intervals for each color because I thought less colors would just be simpler, but then I ended up getting bored of the colors. So I did high temperatures of 0 to 55, again, because I knew I was going to be in Texas for part of it, and it's simply not that cold. And then 56 to 70, 71 to 85, 86 to 99, and then 100 plus. That was the colors for last year. I am going to go back to intervals of 10. But anyways, the plan for this year, I'm going to be doing granny squares again, but I wanted to obviously make them smaller than that one because it's quite big. I wanted to make them smaller, and I also wanted to kind of lessen my workload because, I should say, also, I'm going to be doing only the the temperatures, tracking the temperatures in Syracuse. Obviously, I'm in Texas right now, but I'm only in Texas until literally Saturday. So 2 weeks in January, and then probably about 2 weeks in December. And I just didn't think that the total of 1 month, maybe out of the whole year, was enough to warrant changing up cities for my blanket. Like, I wanted to be a bit more cohesive. So I'm just going to look at the temperatures for Syracuse these past 2 weeks, especially because I'll be there by the end of this week, and track them that way. But what I'm changing this year is I'm adding what the low temperature is, because I think that'd be fun to also see. I'm adding what the low temperature is, and I'm doing it weekly. So this took a little finagling. I had to look at the calendar a few times. Basically, I'm going to be doing 2 rows for the high and low temperature for each week of the year, and each month square is going to have 5 weeks. Sometimes this works out really well for the month, the way the month's laid out, and for a few months, one or two of the weeks is going to be like the end of one month and the beginning of another, and that's just the only way I can split up the year into even weeks, to give each month 5. So that's what I'm doing. And then I'm gonna obviously do, this is my border color, so I'm gonna actually not do a border each month, but to connect the squares, because I learned a new method of connecting granny squares this year that I really, really like, and so that will actually get done towards the end of the year. But yeah, so I'm doing highs and lows and weekly, because yeah, the daily flowers, in fact, did not make my life easier. But I think if I only have to do about 4 rows a week instead of 7, a little easier, you know? And then also, of course, the squares will be smaller. So that's my plan really for this year. I could go through the colors. Maybe I'll do that later. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do it right now. I also know I need to make this little guy, but I'm gonna go, I have some plans today, but I don't know the timeline quite. I need to do this, and then I'm also going to start on my first square for January. I'm going to take you through the first week because it's only the second week, and this needs to go up this weekend, so I probably won't be able to, well, maybe I'll do the second week. We'll see. But yeah, that's what's going to be next. I've written out my new card, and I've done it a little differently. Because you know those like thin Sharpies? I can't find mine. So I've used a big Sharpie and then an ink pen. But I can't find, I know there has to be a hole puncher in this house. I can't find it. And like last year, I'm pretty sure I just stabbed the cardboard with scissors. I don't want to do that. I like how this one looks with the hole punches. So later tonight when I'm home and my mom is home, I'll ask her where the freaking hole punch is. But I have all my own on my desk because I was looking for the names, but now I'm going to look up the highs and lows of last week and start the square. There's not really much to say. I assume it's gonna be like lows in the dark, in the purple, and highs probably in this color, 30 to 39. I'm not paying much attention, but yeah, I'm gonna look and I'll come back with some square probably. So I've found the temperatures, started the blanket, and run into a slight problem. And that being, I don't actually know how I want to do this. So I found the temperatures last week, actually the very end of December, and I don't know if I mentioned this in when I was explaining it, but because I have to split the weeks up kind of funky, like the end of one month and the beginning of another might be in the same week, but I'm counting it for a certain month. So for January, the very end of September, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday are December, and Wednesday through Saturday are January, but those temperatures are counting for this first week of January. Happens a few times. I've had to look at the calendar. That's just how it has to work out so that I have even squares basically. But the high of the week was actually 63 before it dropped real bad in New York, and then the low was 21. So I have these two colors for my first week of temperatures in New York. And then I was like, I actually don't know how I want to do this. I made up 2 samples and I just posted it on my Instagram for people to vote because I don't know. Like in this scenario, I like this better, but I don't know like when it grows like every week if it's like low high, and like until I'll have 20 rows, 20 rows, what am I saying, for each square, because there's 5 weeks. But like maybe this will be more fun, and especially like if we get into like kind of this territory, mixing these together, or you know, like maybe, I don't know. So right now I like this one, but I'm gonna see what people think, if people see the vision with this. That's why I haven't cut anything, because I actually have to get ready for work. So I'm gonna let people vote on this for the next 8 hours, and then when I come home I'll pick one and pull this all out and make the one that I really want. But yeah, so this is the colors. The one for this week is probably gonna be these two because it's very cold in New York. did win the Instagram poll. This is your reminder to go follow my Instagram. So I undid both and then redid this one. So this is what it looks like. And this color was a high of in the 60s and then a low in the 20s. And I think what I'm going to do is, since tomorrow's Wednesday, I have a pretty good gauge of like how accurate Google forecast and that between the past weather website that I love and my Google forecast, I think I'm going to do week 2 tomorrow so that we have a little bit more in this video and it'll be more accurate once you guys actually see it. I also made my little cheat sheet board thing. As you can see, never found the hole punch. I used a letter opener to stab holes in this, but you know, it really is for my own, it's for myself. I love this because then I also get to see all the colors. I'm so happy with this yarn choice. So yeah, we now have the last 3 rows. 3 rows? 3 years. Wow. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I love this. I'm gonna guess that we're probably gonna use this again. And probably high, I think the high is probably like in the 20. Well, actually, I checked the weather the other day. I think the highs are like in the 20s or 30s. So it's either going to be, I think, it's either going to be these 2 for this week or these 2. But I'll let you know tomorrow. We are on day 2 of a slick back because, hey girl! Guys, the cat just came in. I thought my door was closed. Hey girl! Oh, don't mind my dirty clothes. That is the only cat that's allowed in here because all my other ones, they're not my cats. It's okay, sweetie. Are you gonna stay in? You wanna go? You don't have to. She's closing the door. Like I was saying, all my other cats come in and like try to eat plants or mess things up. She's chill. I like her. Anyways, I'm in day 2 of slick back because we're going to dinner tonight. So my hair wash schedule is a little messed up. So I need to wash. I couldn't wash my hair this morning because I want to like wash it and then style it. Anyways, that's so not what this is about right now. I did do the second week of the temperature blanket this morning. So this is what we're looking like. I was surprised because I thought it was either going to be the first and second colors or the second and third. It's actually the first and third because on Saturday it's supposed to go up to 30 degrees, which puts us at a high of 30 and a low of, I think it was like 12 or something, which is like, oh my god. But that's what it looks like so far. I don't have much else to say. This yellow is so not a vibe, but like the random 60 degrees, like I don't know. The other thing I think is important to talk about with temperature blankets that I don't think I mentioned at all in the beginning is the hook you use. So I happen to have a lot of hooks. If you see like, whoa, right here, there's a bunch of hooks because I just have acquired a few now. I have multiple of the same size, a range of different sizes, a range of different materials for the same size, stuff like that. And because I find that different materials work for different yarns. So what I have found both last year and this year actually, so these are both, like last year I used Pound of Love and this year I'm using Heartland. And I don't know if it's a Lion Brand thing or just like, maybe it is a Lion Brand thing, but the acrylic yarn that Lion Brand makes, both the Pound of Love and Heartland, are 100% acrylic. But they're very soft, but I found that they work really well with these Prim crochet hooks. So I don't know, I think, because these are plastic, but it's not really like a shiny plastic. Of course it does shine when it's like in the light here, but like I feel like this part of the hook is almost like more matte. Like when I like put my nail on it, like you can't, it feels different than like down here. So something about this works better. I feel like the matte hook with the better, I don't want to say better, but like it is better quality acrylic than like Red Heart. I'm not against Red Heart, but for the sake of literally just describing it, this is a better quality acrylic. That mixed with this matte plastic hook, it does not squeak. It's never squeaked all of last year, from what I've used this year, I know that's like a lot of people's big thing with acrylic yarn. That happens to me with Red Heart with my metal hooks. I've never used Red Heart with the plastic hook. That happens with my metal hooks if I'm crocheting really tight. That's just something I've learned to deal with. I try not to crochet that tight, but it happens, especially when I'm like making dolls and stuff. She's upset. What's wrong, girl? What's up? You can come up here. You want to come on the bed? I'm ranting for too long and the cat's distracting me. Basically, if there's something unpleasant about your experience at the start of your blanket, try changing the hook material. That might just be what the problem is. I know. So like I also, even if it's not a different material or anything, I try to have the same hook with the yarn kept aside all year. So I'm not worried about finding the yarn, finding the hook. I'm not worried about forgetting what size I use. When I'm here in Texas, I had all the yarn and the hook and the blanket in one basket. At school, I had it like in a bag. I have to figure out if I'm going to buy another basket or something for school, but generally I like to have literally like all the yarn, the square I'm working on, and the hook all in the basket all year long, so I don't have to worry about where it is, losing it, stuff like that. So that's my other, I think that's like my last real tip. Anyways, that is all I have for today's video. I really love temperature blankets. I'm a big advocate for them. I think there's a lot of different ways to do them. If you feel like they're not for you, or you're kind of worried about having a year-long project, I think also just having like loose deadlines. If I'm a month behind, I'm not worried. I'll take a few days and catch up. Like it's crocheting. It's really fun and great, but it's not the end of the world. It's not that serious. So yeah. I really love them. I hope some of y'all are making temperature blankets this year. Do let me know if you're making one below. Follow me on Instagram. Send me pictures of your temperature blanket. Do I need to make a group chat? That would be so cute if we just sent pictures of our temperature blankets. Guys, let me know if that's a thing we're doing. I'll ask on Instagram maybe too. Follow my Instagram because who knows what's going on. I only have Instagram and YouTube and Pinterest now. So yeah, I'm getting distracted once again. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe below, turn on the little post notifications, comment something like, there's a bunch of links below with, I'm going to try to find the yarn and the hook I used. I'm just doing a regular granny square. I don't think I need to link anything for that. Yarn and hook I used and all the different ways you can support me. There I have Amazon lists and Ravelry wish lists and buy me a coffee and all those things if you want to support a very much like stereotype of struggling college kid. Even if it's just like $5 for a coffee, it really means a lot and goes a long way sometimes. So yeah, I don't know how many updates I'm going to have for my temperature blanket. I'm sure I'll include it in the podcast every month. That's probably going to be it until the end. I might have a video like finishing it up because I know it's going to take a minute to join them all together. So we'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you all next week.